Hello, and welcome to the Guilbault Girls Show, where you will have the opportunity to hear from mothers, fathers, siblings, and individuals themselves about their journey of living with a disability. I know, it's called Guilbault Girls, but we have a bonus for you as we get the Guilbault boys to interview some of the dads and siblings and get their perspectives too. We'll also have special guests from time to time to share the many resources that are available to those living with a disability and their families. So get ready to laugh, smile, cry, maybe even get a little angry when you hear some of these stories of their day-to-day struggles. But let's not forget their many triumphs. As they say, it takes a village. And if it weren't for our village, we wouldn't be where we are today. So join us. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Guilbault Girls. So, if you've listened to the prior episode, we interviewed the Andreens. And today we have their beautiful daughter, Faith. And she is the sibling. She has a sibling, Ellie, who has cerebral palsy. So we wanted to go ahead and just get her take and just see how she is today. How are you today? You doing good tonight?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm doing good.
Yeah,
so I just wanted to thank you for joining us. And I wanted to know, just go ahead and tell a little bit about yourself, how old you are, just some fun facts that you'd like to share about yourself.
Okay, so I'm Faith. I'm 13 years old. My sister, like she said, is Eliana. She's 16 and has cerebral palsy. So it's just the two of us. I'm the youngest. And that's a little bit about me.
And what are some fun facts? What are maybe some of the hobbies and stuff that you like to do, or any sports, or play any musical instruments?
So I'm really into volleyball. I play with a club team called Intensity. So that's my favorite sport. And then I play the trombone and tuba. So I really enjoy those instruments. And then I also play the piano. So those are my favorite things to do in my free time.
Well, I have to say, your whole family, you guys have so much talent in that family. I know you guys post videos. Your mom posts videos on Sundays of you guys singing and worshiping. And yeah. So what was it like growing up having a sister with a disability? Was there a certain age that you noticed that she had a disability?
Yeah, so really as early as I can remember, I've kind of known that she's had a disability because especially when she was younger, she had like orthotics and had trouble like walking and talking and eating. So it was like, as really as long as I can remember her and like remember everything, I've really known she's had a disability. It's not like something that was like trying to be hidden from me. It was just kind of like an open thing that like we all knew. And really just as long as I can remember her, I've known she's had a disability.
Mm-hmm. Did you have to go to a lot of different doctor's appointments or therapies or anything with her growing up, or was she pretty much done with that when you were?
So when I was younger, like elementary school aged, she used to have OT and PT appointments. Not really as much anymore now that we're older. She doesn't really have any of those. But when I was like younger, like 8, 9, 10, like around that age when she was still younger and she had a lot of like appointments, and sometimes like they would be after school and like I would just go and like read a book or do homework or something. But yeah, I did sometimes go, but like then sometimes also like I would have like sports practices or something, so one parent would take her to appointments and one would take me to like practice or school events or just anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever feel like you had to miss out on anything because of your sister? Not because of her, but because of some of her therapies that she had to do?
Not necessarily. Like I can't like really think of anything like big that we missed because of it, but like yeah, I mean sometimes it's just like you miss like hanging out with friends or just like doing things that are like fun. And like when you have to go to the therapy appointment because you can't stay home alone when you're that young. So It's like I never really missed out on anything like huge that like I can really remember, but just like some little things here and there that like I would have liked to do, but like ultimately couldn't because we had other things going on with my sister.
And I feel like that happened a lot too with my son, because I have a son who's 22, and I did an interview with him too last weekend to kind of just talk about, how he felt growing up, and did he ever miss out on things, or did he feel like there was certain things that we didn't do as a family because of her. I have to say, I do follow you guys because I'm friends with your mom on Facebook a lot, and I love the fact that you guys do so much as a family. And you really don't let anything, stop you guys. Seeing some of the things that your sister accomplishes too, and when you do it, you go and you just kind of accommodate where you can, but was there any time when you felt like you couldn't talk to your parents, because, you knew there was a lot on their plate with your sister, and you just, felt like you didn't want to put more on that, add to that plate, if you will?
I mean, sometimes you do feel that way because, like, sometimes she just has, like, a rough day, and then, like, your parents are just kind of, like, more worried about her. And then, like, if I just, like, want help studying, or, like, I get injured, because I do that a lot. But if I just have, like, any issues or anything, I just try to, like, especially on, like, her rough days, I just try to, like, keep it on the back burner and then ask them another time. Or it's, like, just trying to, like, not add stress to, like, the already stressful situations. And then it's also, like, I've learned to be, like, really more independent. So, like, whenever they're worried, like, with her or something, and are helping her with something, I just kind of learn to, like, do it myself, because I'm not a very patient individual. So, like, if they're doing something with her, I'll just, like, try to figure it out myself. So yeah, that's what so sometimes you don't really want to add stress, but then there's also sometimes that, like, you can't help it, like, you have to tell them about stuff. So yeah.
And do you have a lot of different friends that you can kind of talk to, that you feel, that you can open up to?
What was that? Sorry, you broke.
Do you have a lot of friends? Do you have
out.
friends, like certain friends that you can, feel like you can go to them with stuff and open up and talk to them?
Yeah, of course. Because, like, my friend group, like, I have a really supportive friend group. We all are very, just like, all my friends are so nice, and I'm so blessed and thankful. And, like, we all just kind of come to each other with any issues that we're having. Like, we all have siblings, and a lot of times they get annoyed with their siblings, even though some of their siblings don't have disabilities. Like, siblings are just, siblings. They can be annoying sometimes. So, like, we all are kind of just, like, I don't know, kind of like each other's, like, support group, I guess.
That's good. That's what I asked my son too. And, and he had a few friends, and he had some friends that kind of didn't understand face disability. But then once he kind of, like, explained everything to them, then they were like, oh, okay. And it was just like any other day, I know that he was very protective of his little sister, to make sure that, he wasn't she wasn't made fun of, or, he always stuck up for other kids. And I find that, the siblings, they learn to have more well, I know you said you don't have patience, but you learn to have a little bit more patience. And, you guys also learn a lot of empathy too. Do you have any concerns
Definitely.
for your sister when she gets older?
I do have a few, because she does, like, do some things differently. Like, sometimes she has, like, trouble walking, or, like, she eats and talks differently than, like, other people do. So, like, my family and I, we know about it, and, like, we can give her those, like, reminders, like, make sure you pick up your feet when you walk, so you don't trip, or make sure you swallow before you take another bite, just, like, things like that. But whenever she's, like, older and is in college or is moved out, people aren't going to necessarily know that about her. And I don't want people to, like, judge her before they get to know her, because once they get to know her, they'll actually really like her. But if people, like, sometimes it could be off-putting if you like see someone doing something, like, differently or weirdly per se.
Right. And it's all about advocating. So with Faith right now, she's working, some of her goals are working on advocacy. So that way, when she's with other people, because she's going to have other people that are going to need to assist her in some ways and remind her of things too, as well, of just kind of, voicing that, what you need help with, or, this is how I do this, and this is how I do that, and it's just all about, like, those advocacy skills. Let me see. What aspects of being a sibling of someone with a disability do you enjoy the most?
Well, there's definitely a lot of rewarding things, because, like, whenever like we do stuff, whenever she achieves it, it's like even more rewarding. Like whenever like we did a 20-mile bike ride, like a lot of kids even without disabilities might not be able to achieve a 20-mile bike ride, but like with her being able to do it is like even more like that much more special, because she has like a physical disability and she was still able to do it. Or like just doing like things that like we do every day, or things that like we do without thinking about it, like whenever she achieves like stuff like that, or it's just like more rewarding for her to do stuff. So it's like it's good. It's like it feels good to see her like finally achieve something she's been working on for a while. So it's definitely rewarding. It's like that much more special whenever they achieve something.
Mm-hmm. In your school, do you find that they teach about inclusion or just about disability in itself? Do they ever have any types of workshops or read any books or touch on anything?
Well, not well, we don't have really any like workshops or anything, but some in our curriculum we do have some like diversity and inclusion, like I like what we read about and learn about, like especially this year in 8th grade in language arts, like we had a whole quarter on just diversity and inclusion of everybody. So we don't really have any like big workshops where we like talk about disabilities and like including everybody, but I definitely feel like it is like talked about one way or another at school, even if it's not just like coming out and saying like about specifically about disabilities. But I feel like we do have a good like balance of talking about like different things and inclusion.
Mm-hmm. And have you found where, because there are always going to be kids that make fun of other kids, whether they have a disability or whether they don't, whether they just don't like the person, there's you're always going to have that aspect on some type of level. Do you find that well, what would be one thing you would say to others that aren't familiar with people with disabilities, or that might make fun of them, or like, is there any advice you would give people?
I would just say honestly, just be inclusive no matter what and be kind. Cause like imagine if that was you like sitting all alone at the table, like if you had a disability, like how would you feel? So it's kind of like even if you don't really know about disabilities, you still just want to like be inclusive, and like if you see like someone with a disability like sitting all alone, just like try to talk to them, or like cause it's like just like a slight act of kindness to someone with disability is like means a lot to them, because not like a lot of people like are like super kind to them every day. So it's just like just doing like little things for them here and there, and just trying to like get to know them and being inclusive of them is just like a good thing to do.
Mm-hmm. I think that's great. Even at college level, when I had spoken with my son, he had talked about how he had overheard some people talking about, or kind of not being nice about someone that had a disability that was on campus, and he just told them, look, it just pretty much flat out told them, you don't need to talk to them about that. Like, you don't need to talk about them like that. And, they're human like everybody else. They want to do everything and be everything they can, just like us. The one question I wanted to ask was, what has God taught you through your sibling with a special need?
Well, God has taught me so much. Like we're very blessed, but he's really taught me like empathy, cuz like seeing like other people sitting all alone, or other people with disabilities like having trouble fitting in, like it's taught me empathy, because like I think like what if that was my sister over there like with well, all alone, like how would that make me feel? So it's like really taught me empathy for people, and it's taught me just like strength, like be strong no matter what, because things are tough and frustrating sometimes, but like it's he's really taught me that no matter what you have to stay strong throughout everything.
Mm-hmm. And what do you wish you could tell others but don't usually get the chance? And what advice would you give to siblings that are just learning that their sister or brother has a disability?
Well, I'm going to start off with the sibling question. So,
Mm-hmm.
if a sibling is just finding out that their sibling has a disability, I would just say be patient and give yourself time, because it definitely does take some adjusting to, especially like if you're just now learning about it, it will take some adjusting to. And so you need to really just be patient with yourself and to be patient with them. And then for people, like, I would like to tell like other people that I don't get the chance to tell, I just like to say that you should just be kind to people with disabilities no matter what. And even people without disabilities, just be kind to everybody no matter what, and don't judge people or talk about people badly because they have a disability. Just be inclusive and just try to be kind to everybody.
Good. I like that. And I always say what's always brought up is that, everything's always about the child with the disability, but the siblings, you don't see many support groups. Do you wish that there was some type of support group for siblings? Because you see, there's parent support groups and then there's support groups for, for the individuals, but it's rare that you see like a sibling support group, because it's overwhelming as parents to go through everything and they take on, all that stress and stuff. And the other siblings, they have to feel it. They have to see it, and sometimes there may be things that you don't want to go to your parents and open up to because you don't want to, add more to the stressors, whereas if there was a place or a platform for siblings to kind of just talk, and say, hey, my sister did this. And, did your sister ever do that? And, or just, I really had a tough day, or my sister had a tough day and I don't know how to help her, or, just to kind of just let go and express your feelings,
Yeah, I think that would be like really nice because like you said, you don't see them often, and it would be good because like there's like people there that understand what you're going through and they're going through the same thing or have gone through the same thing. So it's really like you can really just kind of like sit down and just like talk to each other and understand each other, whereas like if you're talking to someone else that doesn't have a sibling with a disability, like they might like be like sympathetic, but they don't really know what it like feels like to go through it. So having like a support group or just like friends that do like are going through the same thing would just be like a good thing, so that way you can all just understand each other.
Yep. Absolutely. So I asked your parents to ask you all what your word was. Words can inspire us to do great things. They can remind us of our importance or simply remind us to breathe and live in the moment. In the world and inundated with distractions, it's powerful to have a daily reminder. The one thing that I, am going to be doing is gifting all of the guests is a token with their word on it. So would you be willing to share what word you chose and why you chose it?
Yeah, so I chose the word strength because I'm really inspired by my sister's strength and courage. And I just wanted that reminder to like stay strong no matter what, like even when things get really tough or really stressful, that like God will help you through it. So I just like it's like a good reminder, like just to be strong no matter what.
I love that. And is there anything else that you would like to say or add or talk about before we wrap things up?
Not really. I think we kind of covered all the main points.
All right. Awesome. Well, I want to thank you for being on the Guilbault Girls Show, and stay tuned, everybody, because next up is going to be Eliana herself. Thank you. Thank you for joining us as we spread awareness through our personal stories and the many resources shared. You can help us by joining our village simply by sharing our show to the masses. If you would like to support the Guilbault Girls on another level, click on the link in the show notes to make a donation in any amount. Add your address and you'll receive a hand-stamped token with the word village on it in appreciation. Be sure to subscribe to our Guilbault Girls podcast and YouTube show, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Guilbault Girls. Till next time.